Greetings, I'm Rick Ward. I'm an investor, an entrepreneur, and a wealth architect with Working Class Wealth Creations. I've put together this little mini series. It's made up of excerpts from my upcoming book, My Road to Wealth. Each little episode will give some handy hints for you as a beginner, as an investor, to help you along with your journey as a first-generation wealth creator. So let's have a look at this episode coming up right now. Another key lesson learned so far was boots on the ground. Boots on the ground is everything. You can only get so far by sending emails and even phone calls. You can do some research, look at what some things are. You can do a lot of stuff on the internet. But to really be successful, particularly in remote areas, it's true everywhere, but in remote areas, you actually got to be face-to-face and work on relationships. A certain area that you've planned on investing in, you've done the research of that postcode, go find out who the players are in that postcode and get out and meet them. And if there's several agents, then go look around and see who the top performers are, who's the biggest sellers, and start with them. And then you can compare some other people. If you find out that personally you just don't like the people, they give you a bad vibe, or you just don't like their ethics, then you can find other people around there. But I start with the top performers first because they deal in volume. They sell a lot of properties. There's less emotion attached, less trickery. They don't got time to mess around and try to hoodwink you. They just put it out there. It's more no nonsense sort of approach. And they get to know you. And that's the idea. They know what kind of investor you are, how real you are, how able, how likely you're going to be able to get finance. And you start to develop a not only professional relationship, but you start getting a few properties under your belts, and then you can, when you're going out in those remote areas, you can go have coffees with them, things like that, start to build a bit of a rapport with them. And then when you find out deals come up, they want to turn these over quite quickly. So they won't even hit advertising. If they already know you and you're a serious investor and what sort of properties that you buy, then they'll just give you a ring and they'll sell it before it ever hits the market. You can't get that sort of appeal. Send them emails and say, oh, send me any good deals you've got, things like that. So many people do that. And they'll make a slight note about you, make a little list of potential people they call when they've got a property up, but you're seriously not going to have much priority in that. They're going to give it to their first circle of contacts, the ones that's going to happen quickly. And if you are going to be working, or if you're going to be investing in a remote area far from where you live, you want to make sure that at the end of the working day, when you're doing your renovation, that you find out who the players are. You go to the local pubs or dining halls or RSL clubs, whatever's kind of the social gathering place. You just start talking to people, and sooner or later you start working out who the players are in that community. And then next thing you know, you're being invited to their barbecues and things like that, and you become part of that community. And then they kind of look out for you, because if it's emails, you're just another investor, and you have no meaning in anybody's life. But if you're there and you take the time out, I mean, one time I went out prawning with our painter and our real estate agent. That was that was a day well spent. I missed out on working on the project that day, but the sort of relationships that I was building made me very wealthy later on. Deals come my way that wouldn't have come my way otherwise. And the painters and stuff, the trades, again, you're just an investor, and obviously you're from the big city, so you have lots of money, and they'll charge you more, and they'll rip you off in a bunch of different ways. But they get to know you as a person. They're far less likely to want to take advantage and kind of look out for you. I mean, I've had electricians that have called me up and said, hey, you've got a window broken at your house. It's a vacant house. Where my real estate agent never picked that up. My property manager, they've got 300 properties to look after. They're not circling and watching my property. But when you got people in the community and they know you and they sort of care for you, and you show that you care for them, they kind of look out for you. And that happens to me in many different regions. I get to know the neighbors and things like that, and I get these phone calls and say, hey, if someone's broken into your house, or there's these people hanging up, or something happening, Then I get that and I relay it to the property manager and say, hey, can you go out and have a look at that? Had I not forged those relationships, nobody would know who owns that building and who to contact. Same with my tenants. Even though I've got a property manager and I don't typically deal face-to-face or closely with my tenants, I always give my tenants my business card and say, if you have any issues with the property managers and you're not getting the results, you give me a call. If you can't get a hold of me, you give me a call. And that sort of service not only is a benefit for the tenant, but it's a benefit for me, where there could be damage done or there's some maintenance issues that aren't getting dealt with, particularly water damage, leaky pipes. You can cause very costly damage. And they may call the agent not do anything about it. Well, they don't hear back, they get a hold of me and I'll sort that. And I've saved myself property damage there. As well as I've got a relationship a bit with the tenant, so they're more likely to realize that, I'm a good guy, this is my property, you need to take care of it as well. I don't self-manage, very rarely. If I do, it's only short term, because you don't want to have a relationship with your tenants, because if the markets go up, they go down, the tenant starts taking advantage of someone that's like your parents. Well, maybe I don't have to pay the rent, or can we let this ride? And all of a sudden it's very hard to collect and very hard to give a rent increase when the market's going up. They're saying, I take good place, I'm nice, why are you raising my rent? Don't deal with any of that. So there's that fine line of dealing with your tenants, being friendly to them having access to you if they need to, but in the day-to-day, everything else, I don't have a close relationship with my tenants. But I would with my property manager, because they need to be taking care of me. And even though I'm the one paying the property managers, most people don't talk to their property managers much. And so the property managers see the tenant regularly because they got to collect rents, they do rent inspections. They actually form a relationship with the tenant far better than they do with the owners. So you got to make sure that you're staying in contact and you're being reasonable with your property managers. Calling them up and abusing them about every little thing, that's not going to help you as well. So work with them the best you can. Stay in contact with your property managers. Valuable lesson. Well, I hope you found those tips helpful, and if you did, give me a thumbs up. This comes from an excerpt of my video book, My Road to Wealth, so look out for that. This is the kind of content that you're interested in how to create, manage, and retain your first generation wealth. I encourage you to subscribe to this channel, and you can contact me directly on my email, workingclasswealthcreations@gmail.com, or you can follow me on my social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. So until next time, this is Rick Ward, helping you on your road to financial independence.